Suspended between the flesh and soul, we find the gentle spark of life.
These are the Frankenstein files.
Hi, this is Henry Clavall, just calling, looking for Victor. Again. If you're hearing this, Victor, or whoever, if someone could pass on the message that I called. I know I've called a couple of times before, but it just would really mean a lot if Victor could call me back.
Henry, are you still there?
Victor, hi, yes, I'm still here. No one answered, so I was...
Yeah, no, sorry, I was just walking out the door. I had to duck back inside to answer. I wasn't expecting you to... Hi.
Hi. God, it's really good to hear your voice, Vic. It's been months, Victor. No one has heard from you, even Beth. And we were getting worried. I'm getting worried. You don't answer calls. You don't come back for spring break at all. I mean, I haven't heard from you at all this year. We haven't even seen each other since you left for college.
Shit, I know. God, I'm really sorry, Hank. I am. I've been really busy these last couple of months with college, and on top of all of that, Christopher and I have been working on stuff together, especially recently, and it's taken up a lot of time.
Yeah, right. Of course. Christopher, your roommate, right?
Yeah, my roommate. We've gotten closer recently. It's just so we've been spending more time together a lot and working on things, and I've been out of the house a lot, so...
I didn't realize you two were close, I guess.
I mean, it's only been recently, so I hadn't had a chance to tell you. We're just... since we're both working on this project together, and I'm working on something really big, Henry, something exciting. I can't wait to tell you about it when it's done, genuinely, and I promise it'll be understandable why I haven't been able to call. I just can't really explain it over the phone well. But it's important to me that you find out the right way.
No, yeah, of course, I understand. I'm glad you're... Yeah, I'm happy for you. But you can tell me about this big thing over summer break, right? That's actually why I was calling. I was hoping to check on the exact dates for your break and see if you wanted to do something when you get back. Maybe we can go out, grab coffee, or depending on when you arrive, maybe a dinner or something.
As in, like, when you say go out, do you mean,
I'm sorry, no, I just, I didn't, but I know you're not, I just...
No, I mean, it's not that I would, I mean, listen, Henry, I can't just...
No, yeah, I'm sorry, Victor, I just meant...
Henry, I'm not coming back for summer break.
You're not? What do you mean you're not? It's not because of...
No, it's not because of anything. I have this thing I'm working on here, like a research project, almost. There's this big experiment I'm working on, and I can't leave the lab for that long. I have to keep working on it, and I can't come back, Henry. Not for that long. I need to be here over the break.
I'm sorry.
What?
I shouldn't have called. I just thought you... It doesn't matter. I'm sorry.
Well, wait, no, Henry, I didn't... I'm still gonna see you soon, though, right? You're still coming to Ingolstadt in September, and I can show you around. I hope you get settled in. Maybe we can even... Or if you wanted to come out early for the summer, I can show you...
I should just let you go. You said you were leaving anyway. I guess I'll see you when I see you.
Is that a yes for September, or... Okay. Yeah, see you when I see you, Hank.
Goodbye, Victor.
I guess I didn't realize it had been so long since Victor contacted anyone back home. Especially Henry. He obviously wasn't sending the tapes back to Beth. Not these ones, anyway. Still, I mean, months? That's a while. And I know people drift apart, but just assumed he was still calling them or sending letters or something. I don't know. That sort of thing wouldn't be recorded, so I just assumed I was missing it. But I thought there would have been something. I didn't think he would just go dark like that. I guess it was a lot easier back then. It's easy enough to do now. Even if it doesn't seem like Victor or Henry wanted that to happen. Well, or maybe it is what Victor wants. It's so hard to tell anymore. Everything is so escalated. Maybe it's a good thing Henry isn't there to see what Victor's doing. Whatever. It's not like I can change what happened, and if Victor was only apologizing to Henry for ghosting him in that first tape, I think everyone involved got off a lot easier than they could have. Something tells me that's not the case, though. Now that this one's done, I guess I don't need to keep it out. I've started putting a bunch of tapes away, which is frustrating. There's still a ton more I haven't gotten to, and putting them back in the box means they're not all laid out in date order anymore. I mean, I have the dates all written out now. I just feel dumb for putting in all that effort to organize them, only to throw them back into a jumbled mess. I've left out a few to listen to tonight, or I don't know, maybe tomorrow if I don't get to them before bed, but I'd rather just get out of here and sort through the rest when I'm home. I just want to get them in the car so I can leave. Other than the box of tapes, I did manage to pack a handful of other things. Things to do with all of this, like Beth's poetry and the alchemy books, and, well, actually, most of Percy's books, and a handful of other things that I managed to sort through before I got wrapped up in this Victor Frankenstein shit. Photo albums, trinkets, and things. I wish I could get into the filing cabinet. Or find a way to take the filing cabinet with me to get into it later, but it's way too heavy to lift. I already tried. I have to come back in the spring to get my car anyway. I can just wait a few months to try and get inside, but It would make it easier if I didn't have to. Whatever. Not a priority. That's what I keep telling myself, at least.
Right? Recording. This is Victor Frankenstein, recording in the presence of Christopher Ingram on July 10th, 1970. This recording is the first documenting my newest large-scale experiments in the field of preservation, and by extension, reanimation of human tissue after death. With the conclusion of our usual studies at Ingolstadt University due to the summer break now commencing, we have now properly begun designing larger-scale apparatus and moved our equipment into the new laboratory.
Laboratory.
Christopher.
Victor.
Fine. Our new facility, then. We are operating out of a disused barn, which we have spent the past few weeks renovating into a functional laboratory.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to make it sound professional.
I thought you wanted to make it sound accurate.
Okay, fine, yes, accuracy is more important for recording research, but the lab isn't important right now. We can detail the apparatus and layout later once we're sure it all works. Right now, I just wanted to show you this.
You've been busy. Victor, we had exams. When have you been studying?
Studying wasn't necessary. I didn't need to. It's not. This is more important, comparatively. We're facing more pressing issues here than anything they could put on those exams.
There's definitely going to be issues. Victor, anatomically, this design is incredibly complex. I mean, piecing together so many large components of the human body in this manner is going to need exceptional care. Being able to find the surgical equipment necessary alone is going to...
No, exactly. Finding such large pieces one at a time would be too difficult, which is why I've been varying the research. I think we've been approaching this all wrong. The complexities of the rat threw us off. I mean, you said it yourself. It took me months to try and find and replace individual biological elements, many of which didn't take to the procedure when it came to the first few attempts at Fritz.
And I'd imagine doing the same thing for something of this scale would take even longer. The amount of trial and error, if specific strands of nerve endings or even veins failed, having to remove and replace them individually.
Precisely, that's what I mean. We've been building on the assumption that the easiest method of recreating a human being from dead tissue would be to piece together larger salvaged chunks, connecting whole limbs to a whole torso to a whole head, etc. But what if that is not the best way to go about doing this? Have you heard of an écorché, Christopher?
Vaguely? It's an art term, isn't it? These are just écorchés, right? Anatomical sketches without the skin, the sort of thing you'd see in medical textbooks.
Yes, without skin. That's what it means, literally. It's French for flayed. It's an artistic tradition that dates back as far as Da Vinci, but it isn't only used in drawings. In sculpting, an écorché is an exercise that sculptors use to learn the human form. They start with the model of just a bare skeleton, and slowly, piece by piece, muscle by muscle, they build it up, layering each anatomical component of the body onto the last. Consider, Christopher, don't create body chunk by chunk, but using salvaged tissue to build one entirely from the skeleton up, layer by layer.
Like an écorché.
Just think about it. Every piece we add perfectly tailored to the needs of the experiment. Every muscle, every strand, every nerve connected together in perfect alignment. It would take longer initially, sourcing all of the components, gathering the raw flesh, cutting it from the bodies, shaping it into what we need, but it would save infinite amounts of trial and error as the experiment continues. Not just a composite body, but a uniquely sculpted being, stitched together perfectly at every step of the process.
I mean, it certainly solves the compatibility issue, Victor, but again, the microsurgery aspects alone...
No, that's the thing. You're still thinking in terms of constructing a human body, Christopher. Think bigger. Literally bigger. By building each element of the creation from scratch using existing flesh, we're not confined by the regular genetic scale of human biology. We can make the handiwork easier if we just scale it up. Even just making it 7 or even 8 feet in height and equally proportioned, it gives so much more room to work with. Not just a regular person, but a wholly new creature in our image.
It would definitely make the surgical connections easier to accomplish if the biological components were of a larger scale.
And think of the majesty of that. Think of how easily it would dissuade accusations of being a hoax. Being literally larger than life. We have the ability here to create something beautiful. A perfect representation of a new age of human understanding. Hell, of human evolution. Consider not an artificial human. Not a Homo sapien, something else. Homo Fabricatus. An engineered man.
Homo Fabricatus. Victor, you can't just... How long did it take you to... I mean, it's accurate, I suppose, but we need... Well, to start, we'd need to reinforce the body's skeletal system to hold the weight of a being that size. Metal splints, potentially on the bones. Find ways to strengthen cartilage and ligaments. The power required in the joints and muscles for it to be able to move, the size of the heart in order to sufficiently pump blood through a human of that size, which, again, you're right, would be easier to accomplish if you're building it from the skeleton outward at a larger scale.
Yes, and with the effects of the preservation fluid on the cell's healing and growth factors like we saw in Fritz, the question of donor compatibility is off the table. It would be free to tailor things as needed. You can see the vision I'm forming here, right?
Oh, I can see what you're forming. Victor, this diagram sketch.
Yes, I've been working on it for a while. I checked out some books on medical art, and anatomically we can look at...
When you're saying you're making this figure proportional to the larger scale, is everything in this diagram going to be proportional?
If we are recreating a human being, I don't think it's unreasonable to try and recreate all biological features and functions that a human subject of that sex would exhibit, and given...
You know what? Forget I asked, actually. That is your business, and I don't need to hear about it.
Right, yes. Thank you. But, I mean, I was just... whatever, the plan. Back to the plan.
Yes, the plan.
First step is obviously to finish the construction of the larger scale electrical transformers and power converters inside the barn. And iron out our electrode connection points. From there, we can construct a proper method for the distribution of the preservation fluids and work on the storage of gathered biological material during the process.
Which, if you're taking the lead on, I can begin working on the sourcing of biological components, starting with a skeletal system. It'll be tricky to find enough components to fit the larger scale, but potentially through grafting bones together with reinforcement, it's not impossible.
It is not impossible. This is it.
Bestowing life instead of taking it. The line that separates men from monsters.
Or that separates men from gods. You should sign it with me.
What?
The reference diagram, I mean, for the being. We should sign it together. Mark it as ours, here and now, at the start of this.
Really? Both of us? You're sure you don't want to take all the credit for your discovery for Homo Fabricatus?
I don't know. Maybe I do. I might change my mind if you don't just take the pen.
All right. Give it here. There.
Thank you. What does the P stand for?
It stands for piss off.
Oh, ha ha. I was just curious.
It's for Pretorius. It's an old family name. Bitch to spell, though. Here, there's your pen back.
Right. Thanks. To the beginning of a new dawn, I suppose.
To a new world of gods and monsters.
Victor Frankenstein. Recording made August 20. Yeah, wait. August 21st, I think, now. Yes. The clock ticked over a few hours ago. Okay. Christopher and I have been working on constructing the initial layers of the subject's biology. We tried our best to not alter bones if we can help it, to avoid structural complications beyond a few points. We're creating lengthened composite bones was required, of course, but our testing has shown that after treatment with the most recent version of the preservation fluid, issues of cellular incompatibility are significantly lessened, which is wildly inspiring. If the body doesn't recognize the elements of itself as foreign, there won't be as much risk of cells rejecting each other and causing different parts of the body to die off once it's alive. Which is, comforting to know, I think. It's entirely possible that the effects of the formula have altered the genetic sequence of the donor tissue to the extent that blood type and cellular compatibility aren't an issue at all, which actually opens a vast amount of scientific doors when it comes to the treatment of living transplant patients. But that's an entirely separate field of research right now. Anyway, I've been working for a few days now on the initial introduction of muscle layers and sinew. Harvesting muscle fibers, binding them in epimysium, and attaching them to the skeleton. It's it's delicate work. Each muscle is composed of tissue from at least 1 to 2 donors, and disassembling corpses without damaging them is tedious enough as it is. Besides, there's really only so often we can find usable bodies in the medical lab without people getting suspicious of missing bodies. Given the lack of importance regarding genetic makeup after the chemical treatment, however, we may begin experimenting with the use of animal tissue, at least for these internal layers of skeletal muscle. Dissecting animals might also be, at the very least, less disconcerting than cutting up human cadavers. It's easier to cut them open when there isn't a face looking back at you. The construction of the sprue apparatus on the primary operating table has made access to the body's internal components far easier, but the process of literally sculpting flesh and arranging muscles is time-consuming and difficult. You don't have any real schedule, I suppose, but I can't help but feel massively behind, given what's...
Victor? Victor, are you in here?
Yes, I'm here. I am upstairs at the operating table. I thought you were taking the car to head back to the dorm.
Victor, that was yesterday. Jesus, Victor,
I'm fine.
Are you sure? Because you look like shit. Are you feeling okay? When was the last time you slept?
I feel fine, Christopher. I'm alright. And it doesn't matter. I've been working.
Clearly, but... Victor, you can't expect yourself to meet the standard of precision required for this work while in this state.
My state is perfectly acceptable. I'm just a little tired, yes, but I've made so much progress. See, look at the interfacing between the muscles here, connecting the pelvis to the extended spinal column. I designed and adjusted it to almost perfectly replicate the hypothetical human musculature, considering the additional vertebrae we added.
I'm not saying you're doing a bad job. I'm saying you can't bring people back to life if you're dead. Victor, you look like you need a doctor.
Yeah, well, you're not one yet, so...
That's a lazy insult even for you. Put down the scalpel, Victor.
Christopher...
Come on. I was coming by to collect the lab coats anyway. I need that one. I gotta take them to the 24-hour laundromat in town, and I need to take them now when there are fewer people, so as to not raise suspicion about the amount of blood.
But I...
Have done enough. Look, your spinal work is phenomenal, but you're clearly messing up my preliminary work on the left hip joint, and I swear to God, that's already complicated enough as it is, so stop. I'll take over in the morning. I need to collect ligament tissue from the leg you're dissecting anyway, now that it's preserved. It's not halting progress for you to get a few hours sleep.
Right. Yeah, yes, of course. get changed out of the lab coat. Are you taking gloves as well, or?
No, just put them in the sink. I'll wash them later.
Right. Sure.
Do you want a lift back to the dorm? When was the last time you slept in your actual bed and not the cots in here?
That doesn't matter. It isn't any. The cot is. Okay. Yes, a lift would be appreciated. Thank you, Christopher.
Yeah, of course. I'll cover up the body while you're gone. Get things packed up.
Thank you. Could you, turn off the tape recorder?
Oh, right, yeah. I'll get it.
Today is September 15th, 1970. I am once again logging progress on the development of Homo Fabricatus. It's been a little while since the last recording. Not that there's been a halt in progress at all. Honestly, the opposite. I've been exceptionally busy of late. I meant to record our progress earlier, but the return to classes has meant that I've been preoccupied. Though not as much as Christopher seems to be, hence why I am alone in the lab. Again. Which is fine, I get it, but my studies can wait. The start of my semester didn't exactly go how I imagined it anyway. Besides, despite the semester starting, we have made considerable progress in the construction of the muscular tissue and the introduction of a nervous system to the specimen. Our initial experiments with introducing animal tissue gathered from a local abattoir in tandem with human tissue was a great success, forming an approximation of a human arm with not only functioning muscles tested through galvanic principles, but also an incredible grip strength, even exceeding certain human levels, it seems. Our second evolution of that base design has already been grafted to the skeleton alongside other limbs and musculature. It's been a grisly task to work on, admittedly. Ripping apart and dissecting cadavers isn't exactly a pretty process, but it's worth it. It has to be worth it. And besides, we're getting so close. Which is why I've been considering elements of the being's design on a more surface level, aesthetically, if you will. I haven't attempted anything on the main body itself, but our tests with grafting skin on our constructed muscles has been really successful. Especially Christopher's work connecting the venous system. The additional set of hands has made the work progress infinitely faster than we could have hoped given the circumstances. The issue, however, is that we need a lot of skin. Likely from multiple bodies grafted together to cover the surface area, which is doable. We've got a small collection of preserved skin samples from other collected corpses, but, well, like with Fritz, it will probably be noticeable that certain patches of skin originate from various donors. Human beings tend to think of our skin as part of us, the same way we would think about a bone or muscles. And it is a part of us, obviously, but it's different. It's external. It's more like a suit.
something we wear that's tailored to our bodies. The skin on our hands is like a glove, on our arms like a sleeve, and when taken off of a body, when the skin is flayed and peeled away, when preserved, it is far more like leather than anything else. Like a material that can be shaped and stretched as needed. We don't realize as people how malleable we are. How much of our flesh is impermanent and reshapeable, despite how much we see that every day. What are stretch marks, if not evidence of the beautifully complex construction of our bodies? Proof that we are made to bend and shift and change as life continues. Our skin constantly altering, being reworked by the nature of growth. Every facet of the human form, I have gained a new, overwhelming appreciation for through the course of this experiment. Every scar and blemish has revealed itself to me as marks of pure aesthetic beauty. Natural beauty. Something so difficult to recreate. Every part of this experiment has been difficult. But the final stages, finding how he should look, somehow feels more difficult than the rest of the process combined. Given the size of my specimen, it would be impossible to simply try and lift the face off a single corpse, either for the skin or for the muscles underneath, which leads me back to the roots of the aesthetic considerations. Life itself is beautiful. The process through which we have achieved it here is equally so, if not more, and should this being not reflect that? Should their appearance not be a celebration of beauty in the way their very existence is? I am not an artist. Henry and Beth are, but my art was never perfect in the way I wanted it to be. But here, with this creation, it can be. I can make it perfect. So while Christopher works on the final integration of our electrical nodules into the neck and torso of the being as per my designs, I have begun crafting the visage of my creation, sculpting as if from clay a modern Adonis, or maybe more accurately a modern Galatea. Every aspect of their face shaped beneath the skin, cheekbones and nose and jaw all together, chosen specifically to fit together like a puzzle, revealing a reflection of humankind. The lustrous hair, the golden brown eyes with which we aim to imbue them, the way their lips sit upon their jaw. All of it. I have been so ardently crafting, so carefully stitching together the elements of skin which make up their face. When the world looks upon this new example of humankind, the first of a new age of our species, should they not look upon its beauty in total awe? Should a thing so marvelous, so entirely divine as to transcend our understanding of life and death not bear the visage of an angel as it deserves? I can only pray for such a result to come from my handiwork. Only hope that I can look upon my creation and know that I have done all I could to make it perfect. I just need to be careful in my construction. For one thing, the electrodes in the temples need to be closely monitored and installed properly so as not to cause damage when the voltage is applied. Regardless, care is needed in the final stages of attaching their skin. With the scalp, especially, which will need to be separate for now. We're still constructing the body after all, and the face is an entirely different beast to the neck. I can work on the head all I like, but it's useless if I can't properly connect the spinal cord. All of this is useless if we can't insert the brain once we find a suitable one. The only part I don't think we could fully create on our own. The one piece of the human puzzle so intricate we can't even begin to understand it. But as long as we can find one that's suitable, preserve the tissue well enough that it could be transferred without considerable damage, I can find a way to make it work. Find ways to restore it, give it new life, attach it to the nervous system of the body. We just need to find one. Until then, there's no use in having a brain if there's no head to put it in. And so, the face. The delicate work of arranging the face. Designing it to be beautiful.
The weather definitely isn't ideal, but... Okay, it doesn't look like it's going to get better anytime soon. The wind is lighter than before, even if the visibility is next to nothing. It's not even snow anymore, it's just sharp, heavy sleet, and the thick fog hanging low to the ground, like mold clinging to every surface it can reach, eating away at the decaying landscape. As long as I'm out of here, it doesn't matter. This whole place can decay as long as I'm not in it. This stupid house is freaking me out this morning. It doesn't help that I barely slept last night. Everything's hazy, and hearing Victor hack someone apart like that last night didn't help take me off edge. I mean, even if the person was dead to begin with, which, God, I hope they were, and I haven't been listening to the recordings of a fucking serial killer this whole time, but even if they were dead already, does that make it any better? I mean, it's still insane and sick and twisted, both of them, and it doesn't matter. Not now. I'm done now. I'm almost out of here. I'm gonna be home soon. Pretty much everything should be good to go, other than putting the snow chains on. It's been a while since I've needed to put them onto a car, but hopefully it shouldn't be... What the fuck was that? What the fuck was... God. Fuck. Oh my God. Please tell me the mic picked that up and I didn't imagine it. What the hell was... Hello? Is somebody there? Hello? What the fuck? What was that? What the fuck was that?
This episode of The Frankenstein Files was written, directed, and edited by Connor Wasn't Here. It starred the vocal talents of Artful Renegade as Henry Clerbal, the Beetle Bard as Victor Frankenstein, Jamphibian as Beau Walton, and Hoarding Puffin as Christopher Ingram. The theme song was composed and performed by the uninformed Xennial. The Frankenstein Files is a Wayward Bones production. If you'd like to support the show, along with receiving bonus episodes, bloopers, and exclusive content for both the Frankenstein Files and Cantripped, you can find the Wayward Bones Patreon linked in the show notes, alongside our community Discord, where you can find episode transcripts, receive updates on episode releases, and interact with the show's community. Your support is the spark that keeps the show alive. Thank you for listening.